Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Brittany. I am a second year homeschooling mom with a rising first grader and a preschooler. If you have been here before, welcome back. This is a bonus video to my what I learned during my first year of homeschooling. Lesson number one, I don't need as much curriculum as I thought. So in that video, I talked about what I did use for our kindergarten year, but I wanted to show you guys what we didn't end up using. None of these resources are bad per se. None of them, some of them didn't really work for us. And I'll be as candid as possible, but there wasn't really anything fundamentally wrong with any of these. I think honestly a lot of the reason why we didn't use this, it was just so many choices. We were still figuring out what worked for us with our flow, what our focuses were, and so it was just one of those things where they just didn't get used. So if you see something that you're particularly interested in, that you have more questions about, hit me up in the comment section or send me a DM on Instagram at salterside123, and I will be more than happy to take a look at it with you, send you a video, answer any questions that you have. So let's get into it. What did we end up not using for our kindergarten year? First and foremost, let's look at math. One of the things that we did not use was our wild math curriculum. Let me get that glare out of there for you guys. But our wild math curriculum. So if you're not familiar with this, it's a really wonderful curriculum that she also has for different grades and also for reading. I follow her on Instagram. It was one of those things where we just didn't get outside a ton for various reasons that we're gonna try to do better. I love this curriculum. I love that it's so hands-on, that it gets you outside, but it just kind of fell by the wayside for us. A couple of other things were just really random workbooks. So one of the things that I mentioned in my original video was that I would not be buying random workbooks anymore, like this one from Target about time and money. There was another Scholastic one, time and measurement, that I actually got for free. I want to do more of this next year, but math books. So this book is called The Grapes of Math. And it's just a book of like exercises, short exercises that your child can go through, stories. And I really want to do more of this with my son next year, but we just didn't get around to reading a ton of math books outside of what was in our Math with Confidence curriculum. This humongous stack of workbooks is all for language arts and reading. So one of the ones that I'm gonna highlight is this Evan Moore Skill Sharpeners Grammar and Punctuation. I think, yeah, Grammar and Punctuation for kindergarten. My son just wasn't ready for it yet. He will be ready for it next year. It's something we're going to be focusing on for his first grade year. So I did purchase the first grade version of it. I'll probably just consign this, get some money back on it. There are a lot of really just random workbooks from Five Below. Great in theory, but again, how many workbooks does one need? Another one that I thought my son would like a little bit more that he actually didn't are wipe clean books, which is really weird. My daughter loves them, so I'll still be able to use them for her, but like this sight word workbook, I thought he would really be into it with the wipe clean element. Not his deal. He loves writing on dry erase, like plain dry erase. Loves that. Not so much into the more structured activity book where he has to write in certain areas. So this one, fail for him, but I could still use it with my preschooler. These next three items, he just wasn't ready for. So I was really excited about these because my son has this huge imagination. He loves making up stories with his toys and his action figures. So I thought he's gonna love making up stories and writing them down. No, not the same thing at all. I think part of it is that he was still grasping the concept of reading and writing, and so I think it was just still a little too overwhelming for him. But I am not giving up on these resources. I'm going to hold on to them, because one of our goals for first grade is to improve our reading and writing and spelling to the point that he is able to write some short stories, specifically scripts, movie scripts, because he loves making little movies. So one of the things that I have, and I got all of these off of Amazon, 101 story starters for little kids, and this is grades 1 through 3. So I can still use this for a while with him. Another one is picture story starters for little kids, grades 1 through 3. Now, I am aware that he was in kindergarten last year and these say grades 1 through 3. I was just going to do dictation where he told me what the story was going to be. But again, I think he was still wrapping his mind around constructing stories and written word and things like that. He just wasn't quite ready. The other one is Mad Libs Jr., Dinosaur Mad Libs Jr. I had a very elaborate plan for science where my son was going to have his own science journal, and he was going to be able to write facts and draw pictures about the different things that we learned about in science. As you can see, it's completely blank. Again, he just was not ready. However, this year I think he will be, so I'm gonna hold on to this, and it'll be a great way for us to capture what he learns in science this year. So these are 3 science workbooks that we had for this year that I thought we were gonna use. One of them is Scientist Academy. I ended up getting this one off Amazon, but I'm pretty sure you can get it off of Usborne's website, or if you know an Usborne seller. This is a really neat book. It goes through the different areas of science, and so this one's like fossil science. There's other ones for being a biologist, and it gives information as well as activities for your child to complete. We just did interest-led for science all year, honestly. That was it. There was really no like formal like framework that we were following that we have to hit this, this, and this. It was purely what my child was interested in at the time. So we just didn't get a lot of use out of this. I don't know if we'll do it again this year. I still have this one. We may do like a little mini Scientist Academy because we didn't get to do it last year, but I don't know. We'll have to see. I really like this, but we just never ended up using it. Tinker Active. This is another workbook series. They also have them for language arts and math, I believe. Yep, language arts, math, and science. And I really like them because they're, you know, workbook pages, right, that you normally would have with the little characters. But then at the end of every chapter, there's always hands-on activities for engineering and tinkering. And I thought this would work really well for my son because he is more hands-on, because there were like little characters in the book and it was more like a story. But again, we focused on interest-led learning when it came to science and social studies, so we just never ended up using it. The last thing that I have, I didn't think we were going to be able to use this because it is a little bit beyond him, but it has some really cool experiments in it that I think we can use in later years. It's called Janice Van Cleve's Science Around the World, Activities on Biomes from Pole to Pole. So my kids love animals, they love geography, and this is just full of information and experiments related to Earth's biomes. It is a little older for him. I want to say that it probably starts, I want to say around 2nd or 3rd grade maybe. Like older elementary. I don't even think 2nd or 3rd grade, but older elementary could probably use this. This art book, didn't get to it. Discovering Great Artists, Hands-on Experiences in the Styles of Great Masters. I love this book. I love it. It's broken up into different art movements. It shows the level of difficulty for each activity. It has information about the artists. This is a great book. One of my only qualms about it is I feel like it could be more diverse, but in terms of ethnicity. However, I do feel that it's very diverse in terms of art movement. And I love the activities inside of it. I think they're very easily explained. You know, you're not hunting for a lot of like random art supplies to be able to get this done. But we just did not get to it. Did not get to it. This was a major mommy fail, okay? It's all my fault. This was major mommy fail. We did not a lick of Spanish this year. Not a bit. And I had everything planned out for Spanish, and we just didn't. We did not get to it at all. I think part of the problem is that this wasn't like a complete curriculum. Like, it came with some suggestions, but I feel like because I was putting together so much other stuff for the kids, like with unit studies and with science and with social studies, I just did not have the bandwidth to continue to put things together for Spanish. So I'm thinking I'm either going to outsource Spanish this next year for them to go to like a class, or I'm going to have to find another truly open and go curriculum. Now this, I think it would have served us fine had I had more bandwidth. It's called Teach Them Spanish, and it's for grade K. It says it comes with lesson plans, worksheets, and classroom activities. Again, it just wasn't enough for me, given how much time and energy I was putting into other subjects. So if you're looking for something that's relatively cheap, I don't think this was super expensive, not more than $15. And it comes, you know, with, you know, different activities on the inside that you can cut out and use with your child. I didn't feel like it was open and go enough for what I had going on, and we never touched it. The last thing that I'm gonna show is for my preschooler, which I'm going to come back to this for both my kids because I still think that I can use it. It's called Creating Curriculum Using Children's Picture Books. And so it has 18 picture books included in this, and I found it thrifted in our local homeschool store, but I'm pretty sure you can find this on eBay. It goes through each story. So this one is If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. It's a very complete like set of unit studies for each book. It gives a story summary, themes, skills your child's gonna learn, vocabulary, related books, things that you want to ask them before, during, and after the story. And then it has all these different sections where it's talking about activities that you can do with your kids. So fine motor activities, art activities, problem solving and social skills activities, science, language arts, math. It even comes with some worksheet pages. So if you're looking for a literary curriculum for unit studies in particular that's going to cover different books, like it goes through Clifford the Big Red Dog, Corduroy, Curious George, Diary of a Worm, Harold and the Purple Crayon, The Mitten, The Napping House, Olivia, The Polar Express, The Three Pigs. Ton of books on here. So that is what we didn't get to during our kindergarten year. The only other thing that I had that we didn't touch, and I actually am not digging it out of storage right now to show you guys, would be Hooked on Phonics. I actually had that curriculum as a backup in case some of our reading curriculum didn't work for my son, but we also ended up not using that this year. So as I said in my original video, not a total waste. I can keep some of this, I can consign some of this, so I'm not out financially too much. It's just one of those things where I spent time purchasing these items and then also just dealing with the mental weight of having options and having all this at my disposal and not really knowing what to do with it. So lesson learned. Take a look at my original video for what I am doing differently for next year, and hit me up in the comments. Is there a resource that you thought you were definitely gonna use and you just never got around to it? Please let me know I'm not the only one. Until next time.